There are many women who were raised in oppressive and abusive households where their behavior was controlled. Hi, I'm Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, and I work with women who have been victims of narcissistic abuse. And I'm constantly reminded in the work that I do and the women that I work with, and a lot of them are women of color, but not all. Were raised in very oppressive and controlling and rigid households where a lot of the rhetoric was around being a good girl, studying, and just being a high achieving academic performer, and making sure you keep your head in the books and stay in school and do all of that, and go to a good college and everything like that, which there's nothing wrong with being a high achieving young adult. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem comes when there's no real socialization that's allowed to happen. So what I mean by that is these girls aren't allowed to have friends. They're not allowed to date. They're not allowed to explore other curiosities or have their own individualistic personality. And they're expected to just conform and comply, and whenever they do have that curiosity to go out and explore and try to date or be around their friends, a lot of times they'll be labeled as promiscuous, they'll be labeled as grown, and they'll be berated, they'll be cussed out. Some of them may even be physically abused as a result of that. And a lot of that happens around the time frame that these girls become curious in boys. These girls become curious in exploring sex. They become curious in exploring dating. They start to develop physically and also mentally, where they start to individualize and have their own personality. There's oftentimes pressure from mom and dad to conform or stay in your place or be a good girl, or weaponized for wanting to explore their own natural curiosity. So there's like this sort of degrading name calling and abusive rhetoric around that, or told that they're a bad kid for wanting to do that. And that is so crippling to just you as a human being. That can be very, very crippling. And a lot of times what tends to happen is when these girls are raised in these oppressive households, they'll go out and they'll marry someone that is very similar, has very similar rhetoric. So they'll have an abusive and controlling partner that's very similar to what they grew up with. It doesn't allow them to be an individual with their own thoughts, wants, needs, and desires. And then, if they don't have a partner, if even if they do have a partner, or if they don't have a partner, they will still, a lot of times we have our own internal dialogue, our own internal critic, and we take on the voices of our parents that sort of ostracized us or berated us, and tried to put us into a box for having natural desires, wants, and needs. So we start to think that about ourselves. If we do this, then we're that. If we do this, someone's going to make a judgment about us about that. So we can kind of get caught up in our own thoughts and start to even demonize ourselves, or try to make ourselves small, or keep ourselves in a box by having all these rigid rules and expectations with ourselves. So I want to, just remind you to be mindful of that. And one of the things that I work with my clients is, just being more open about, life, and especially with dating and sexual curiosity, like just how you need to lower your guard, and also just be a lot less rigid with yourselves. Take yourself out of that box. Be open be more curious, have greater experiences, allow yourself to have those experiences without all of that judgment and that harsh criticism, or to stop creating negative narratives around everything. Hope that helps. Bye.